Hey guys, welcome back to another Simserra speed build, or as I like to call it, 35 minutes of me spouting bullshit. How are you guys doing today anyway? Tell me how you're doing in the comments below, because that would be really nice. But I think I should talk about this build briefly, while we start the speed build. Again, like I like with all speed builds, when I go to narrate them, I have no plans of what I'm going to say right now. I suppose I should start with telling you what I'm doing with this speed build. You can probably tell from like the title and that below, but I am ruining Vladislav Straud's mansion. That's right, I'm ruining Vladdy Daddy's mansion, and there is a good reason for that. The reason for that is that I am trying to childproof this mansion because it is not safe for children. And if you've been following me on Twitter, you'll probably see like I post like I binge post every now and then the love story between myself, my sim, and Vladislav Straud, because we have our own love story now. It's sweet, it's romantic, and we ended up having children together, which is really sweet. I think I spoke about this story briefly in my last speed build as well. That was me doing an apartment. That's the apartment I lived in, my sim lived in, right at the beginning of that save, if that makes sense. But eventually my sim ended up having a daughter with Vlad. We named her Hecate because he's a vampire and my sim's a spellcaster, and I thought that was cute. But then she, as in my sim, ended up pregnant with Vlad's second child, and we kind of like realized that maybe a tiny like one bed loft apartment wasn't the best place for multiple children to grow up, if that makes sense. There wasn't quite enough room for all of us, so Vlad graciously invited us to live in his mansion with him. At the time, mind you, we were only boyfriend and girlfriend, so we moved into his mansion, but of course we had to make it a bit more child friendly, because I mean, so many sharp objects, like candles everywhere. I mean, there was going to be two children, like we couldn't risk letting any of them be injured. But yeah, so anyway, we moved in and I renovated my mansion to look like this. And the story since then has been quite exciting for this for these sims as well, because we had another daughter. That's right. We had a little girl named Persephone, because I decided to just go with the Greek gods theming for this. And she ended up being a vampire, so we kind of had one of each there, and that was really cute. And she also ended up being like really pale and really creepy, and she kind of just looked albino, which is adorable. I'm not gonna lie. Like, not to like fetishize albinism or anything like that, but albinos are fucking adorable. Like, there's something just beautiful and fey about them. But anyway, regardless of that, yeah, so well, I say I was childproofing it. I was redecorating Vladislav Straud's mansion, Straud Mansion as it's called. I was decorating it in my own style, and so there's lots of pinks and a lot of blues. My favourite two colours are actually pink and green. Blue is just a colour that I only recently found out looks good on me. Like, look at these nails. Like, aren't they fabulous? Like, I don't know if you can see them properly or whatever. Because my camera washes everything out, but they're fucking adorable, and they've got the daisies on and everything like that, and I like daisies and they're cute. So yeah, anyway, so it's kind of like a pinkish bluish theme, but I like, when I renovate things, I don't like to change up like floor plans all too much or anything like that. And so when I was like redecorating this place, I kind of imagined almost like I use the same wallpapers mostly outside and the same columns and that on the outside. I just kind of imagined them maybe having like a good power wash or a good look of paint, you know, something along those lines, to kind of like make them to clean up a bit. I mean, that's not necessarily childproofing it, but I think it looks cute. And it's definitely ruined the whole vibe of the mansion for me. It kind of ended up going with like this kind of gingerbread house looking thing, but I love it anyway. It's adorable, and it's exactly the kind of house I imagine that an extremely femme spellcaster like myself and a creepy vampire like Vlad with their two daughters might live in, you know, and my cat Chicken. Because of course Chicken is in there because he is my bestie in life. He is always my bestie. He will always be my bestie, and I love him to pieces. He's my best friend. That's my cat, by the way, Chicken. If you know me, you know that I adore my cat Chicken. Even though I've got three, I tend to ignore the other two for Chicken, which is bad of me. But in my defense, Chicken was like a birthday present to me from his mom. His mom gave birth to him on my birthday for me. You could argue that maybe his mom gave birth to him on my birthday for my sister instead. But you'd be wrong, okay? He's all mine. She's moved out now. I've moved in. I've taken her place and I'm taking him with me if I move out. And my mom thinks that I was just joking when I said I'd trade my Dolce Gusto for chicken. But when I move out and that Dolce Gusto is still there and that cat is nowhere to be seen, then I'm gonna be having the last laugh. Let's just say. Anyway, why am I talking about my cat so much? Anyway, so obviously we're still stuck on the outside, and I fully admit I did not edit this down as much as I usually would for a speed build, and by that I mean like I cut out like one tiny little bit, and that's it. Which is why this video is so fucking long, and I apologise for that. But anyway, I suppose while we're still on the outside, let's just talk about me. Hi, how are we doing? I'm Meg. I just reached 180 subscribers today as of recording this, and that's really exciting. I'm only 20 away from 100, from 200 even, and that's really amazing considering like not even a month ago, like I'd only just beat 50 subscribers and now I'm like almost at 200. It's kind of wild, like really wild. So yeah, that's amazing. I also apologize, by the way, for like the state of my hair. It is, in case you can't tell, extremely wet because basically I showered when I finished work. Well, an hour and a half after I finished work, actually. I should have done it straight away, but I didn't. And my hair is really thick, as you can see, and like it tangles easily and all that. And so to make it easier on myself when I'm drying, if I start drying straight away, it's going to take me over an hour just trying to like dry my hair normally. So I usually wait for a couple of hours for it to dry slightly naturally and then like dry it myself. And I was going to do that today. I was going to do that tonight before I started recording, but then I didn't. I walked to the shop and then I got back and I was like, oh, I should just dry my hair. And I was like, nope, I'm eating chicken fried rice and reading a book. So I ate chicken fried rice and ate a book. Yeah, I read chicken fried rice and I ate a book. No, I ate chicken fried rice and I've read a book, and it's a very good book. It's my like billionth time reading it, but okay, you can't judge me for that. It's the second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I fucking love it. When I start reading that series, I tend to skip the first one just so I can get to the second one. I started from the beginning this time though, which is very exciting. So yeah, just that's my inner book nerd talking. I don't tend to read books as much as I used to because I have a life now. Well, not much more of a life, to be fair. I used to read a book a day as a teenager, not like small little bitty books, but like huge, like thick tomes. And yeah, I've still never read Lord of the Rings. I know. I tend to just gravitate towards books with a female main character. You know how, yeah, it's my inner lesbian speaking. Yeah, if you didn't know that about me, I am gay, despite my tale as old as time, my love story of me and Vladislav Straud. I am actually in real life a big old leser, which is very exciting and which makes me so excited for the high school years pack that's coming out. And not just that, but the base game updates that we're getting soon with like customizable romantic and sexual attraction and that, which is amazing to me because honestly I don't think I experience romantic attraction myself in my real life. Not that much anyway. I just kind of want to be everyone's friends. But then again, it might just be my logic brain speaking and thinking, well, if you're in love, shouldn't you be friends anyway? Like, isn't that what love is? Just friends plus sex. Which it is not. I fully admit that. But in my perfect world, it would be. Quite frankly. Yeah, yeah, it's one of those things where I just it's just my logic's brain speaking and how I think. But as you can see, I did make the mistake of building this in kind of like winter or autumn, one of the two anyway. So I can't actually see all the lush greenery that I'm putting in place. But as you can see, I put like a lot of like flowers on there. The house is kind of like its gingerbread aesthetic to it, which is really cute with like the blue accents, which make it look absolutely ugly, and I love it. Okay, full disclosure, I love ugly things. I don't know, maybe it's just because I love myself. But if you see Chicken, you'll know why I'm obsessed with him, because he's fucking ugly and I adore him for that. Like, such an ugly cat, and it's amazing. And so I kind of like making things ugly and clash in real life as well. Like, what's the point in buying things if it's not full of colour? I say as I'm wearing literally like a completely all white outfit right now. But in my defence, it looks cute, okay? And I never wear white, but I'm wearing white because it's a new top and I love this new top. It's beautiful. Look at her. Yeah. So I'm just talking about random things now because we are still on the outside of the build, and I did not realise just how long I spent on the outside of this build. It's ridiculous. And again, with this build, I do apologise. I do try to like cut down my pack usage, but I'm absolutely terrible for it, and I even used some romantic garden stuff in this build, and I never used that pack, but I did. And you know what? I'm here for it, okay? Those vases outside the house, maybe not child friendly, but they look cute, so all that, who cares about the rest, you know? And yes, this is still set in a graveyard. Obviously I can't change the graves, but you know what? Introduce your children to the concept of death early, you know? Do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Kids should understand that death is a thing that happens to everyone. And my children accept that, especially considering their dad is a murderous vampire overlord, who will be there for them long after their mother dies. And isn't that a sad thought? But yes, we are finally onto the inside of the interior now. And as you can see, I went straight in there with that pink wallpaper. I was not playing around. It's pink, guys. This build is very pink and very blue. It's almost in transgender colours, which is like, hell yeah. I support transgender folks. Like, imagine I'm waving a flag, even though I'm not like waving a flag, and I don't think that's how you're supposed to wave a flag, but here we go. Yeah, so I got rid of all those lovely carpets as well and put in hardwood flooring. And that is a philosophy I like to play by in my real life as well. I love carpets, don't get me wrong, but I think it's absolutely disastrous if you have these lovely, lush, hardwood natural flooring and you cover it up with cheap tacky carpets. Why would you do that to yourselves? Show off that beautiful hardwood, you know, like. And it's like, it's the same when people like, I see videos of like upcyclers, you get like this really lovely old dresser or something like that in their house. They like get it from a tip or something like that, or a vintage store, and they cover it with copious amounts of paint, and they sand it down, and they cover in like little designs, and that takes away so much of the charm and the history and the personality behind objects, you know? Like, sure, it might look pretty to you, but like, why don't you just, if you want something to look like cheap IKEA crap, buy cheap IKEA crap, you know? You don't have to ruin something beautiful and expensive just to get that pastel or light, airy aesthetic in your house. I don't care for light, airy aesthetics, okay? I know my room is like very grey and very white, but I did not choose the decorations in my bedroom. My sister did, because this used to belong to her before I kicked her out. I very much deposed my sister out of the house, and I moved in her stead, so here we are. I would love to be able to change my room up and have some like darker wallpaper in that, but like that's time consuming and I don't have the time or the energy or the money for that. So here we go. Yeah, again, this is like a long ass build, so I'm like I'm really going to start struggling for things to say right now, especially considering I've been like so busy at work this week. Well, actually been very bad at my job this week, not gonna lie, but in my defense, I've been having a lot of what I don't have an official diagnosis yet for, so I don't want to like officially say, well, it's this. I'm still waiting on the neurology appointment, but it's the NHS and they're overrun by everything right now, and the Tories are cutting their budget, so it's going to take even longer, and there's people waiting up to like 32 weeks for neurology appointments, etc. So yeah, I don't want to like, we are pretty sure, and from the doctors I've spoke to before when I was referred, we're pretty sure that I'm experiencing seizures, which is a very, very scary word for something that's, I'm not going to say inconsequential, because they are very consequential. They take me out for most of the day afterwards, and sometimes into the next day, and I've just been really bad this week, basically. I've had like one almost every day since Wednesday. I didn't have one today, though, but I did have one yesterday. Actually, I had two yesterday, one before, and then I think I had some mini ones when I was recording my live stream, maybe. Anyway, this is a really awkward topic and really, like, down and sad. But I'm fine, guys, okay? I'm sure maybe I have some, like, maybe I have a constant slight headache, and maybe these take more energy out of me than I even have, because I already have like an energy deficiency from fucking hypothyroidism, so yeah. But again, you don't really care about my health. You care about The Sims and being entertained, and that's your prerogative, and I love that about you guys. So what can I say that's entertaining? What have I done this week that's entertaining? I went to see 4. I had a seizure afterwards, so I forgot what happened. But that is not the point of what I was trying to say. I remembered 4. I watched 4. I remembered 4 a couple of days afterwards. And it was a really good film. And obviously I'm not going to go into spoiler territory right now, but I made my mom come see it with me, and she took my dad. And by my dad, I mean her best friend, who shares the same name as her. I've always called her Dad, either Daddy Juju's or Daddy Boobies. And my Daddy Boobies slept throughout the entire movie and missed that scene. And y'all know what I'm talking about. That scene with the tattoo and the butt. She missed it, and my mother loved it. She was like, she was in love, and obviously I was in love with the part where Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie kissed that woman's hand. It was like, lesbians, but it's still like, I mean, I might not experience like that kind of attraction to males, but I'm also not like a classical artist, but I can still appreciate Michelangelo's works, the statue of David, or Van Gogh's Starry Night, or Van Gogh's Sunflowers, or fine paintings. I can still appreciate that, and I can appreciate that in the Fours movie as well. Because I like pretty things, okay? Just because I'm not attracted to it doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. And I think that's something that people don't realise, that you can visually appreciate something without saying that you're attracted to it. It's like I used to compliment people, just after I came out as lesbian. I used to give compliments to my stepsisters, for God's sake, and I'd immediately get accused of having a crush on them, which is fucking creepy considering they're my stepsisters. It's like, it's not as bad as it used to be, but when you're a teenager and you're out, it's kind of like those microaggressions that really get to you, where it's like you can't give someone a compliment without someone else chiming in and saying something stupid about you having a crush on them or something like that, and it's like, no, I don't have a crush on you because I know your personality. Quite frankly. That kind of thing. And I don't tend to experience crushes much anyway. I get visually attracted to people, sure, but I don't have crushes on them, or maybe I do have crushes and I'm just awkward with everyone and I don't even realise it myself. But as you can see, I completely ruined that dining room anyway for Vlad, with a lot of the maximalist pack items. And you know what, I'm not even going to apologize because I love that. I just love that build. It looks so cute. That whole room is probably my favorite room in the house, maybe. And I think it's adorable, and it's not as pink as I thought I would make it. I did struggle for a bit to put things on the walls, and I did want to put more plants in this build, but I didn't, because I kind of there are some plants around in the build, but I kind of logically I'm thinking, well, this is actually quite a dark, drab, dreary mansion, right? It's constantly shrouded in darkness from the curtains and all that, so there's not going to be much natural light in there. So I kind of didn't put too many plants in there that weren't ones that could survive outside, if it makes sense. And you see those poker tools I just put next to the fireplace? First time using them because I can never find them and I can never remember what the name is, and I could probably search it up, but it's probably something to do with pokers, but I never use the search function. I'm really sorry for this long pause here. I did not realise that I left that in. Again, I did not edit this down as much as I should, but here we go, we've started again. And as you can see, yeah, this is I don't know how to describe this build, except it's just my style and my aesthetic that I just forced on Vlad, I also struggled to try and find a mirror to go there as well. It's really hard to put mirrors in when you've got that wainscot in. Wainscot, I don't know. Whichever sounds more posh, because it's been brought to my attention that I'm a posh person, and so, or at least I sound posh. And so I don't know, because I'm not a posh person in real life. My voice is posh. Sure, my voice is very fancy, and I like to think of myself as a posh simmer, you know? Maybe I should just change my name to that, the posh simmer, but then that makes people think I'm like a Victoria Beckham fan, which I kind of am, not going to lie. She's a bad bitch, and she can kill me. But, yeah, sorry. I got really, gross then. I'm just gonna take a drink break. Speaking of my inability to speak, as you guys probably have heard, the most of the UK is fucking freaking out right now because we have got some extreme weather. Let's just say it's a danger to life weather warning. We've been given for next Monday and Tuesday. Next Monday's my day off. I'm going to be spending that inside, like, trying to hide from the sun. Look at me, I'm pale as a ghost. I'm practically a vampire myself. Like, I cannot deal with that much heat. And when I do get exposed to that much heat, weird things happen to me. Mostly, I start stuttering like crazy, and no one likes that. Please don't ask me when I started to speak in this, like, accent, like this fake American accent, but here we are, okay? I'm really sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. Maybe that's just my actual self peeking through. Maybe it turns out I am... Go away, insect. Maybe it turns out I am American. Wouldn't that be a plot twist? I'm actually American? Oh my god, that's such a surprise to everyone. No, obviously I am English. Obviously. I'm British, ain't it, love? I'm sorry, I don't know what's gone into me today. I am on my second energy drink though, so that might be it, to be honest. Excuse that ugly face. As you can see, I am on the kitchen now, and I did make this really lovely and light and airy. And I used a lot of, not outdoor retreat, what's the word I'm looking for? Jungle adventure. I used a lot of jungle adventure furniture in this, because I don't know about you, but I love jungle adventure's kitchen stuff. Weirdly enough, their kitchen stuff is absolutely amazing. And this kitchen is a really weirdly shaped kitchen. Like, can we all just acknowledge this for a second? It's so fucking weird and impractical, but I made it work, and I think you should be proud of me for that. And there's like there's a bug right next to my face, and I don't like it. Go away. Oh, it actually went away. Okay. I don't like insects, in case you can't tell. I'm not scared of them or anything like that. It just fucking gross me out. Like, the bigger they are, like, the less... It's when they got, like, those stick legs and that they creep me out. Like, thick legs on, like, a tarantula, and that fucking adorable. I think that's also a reason why I prefer moths to butterflies, because they have their, like, chunky little bodies, and they can't survive off human blood, like... Butterflies can, and they will drink your blood. Butterflies will, and they're fucking vicious. Moths, they just want to eat your clothes, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. They're getting sustenance. It's kind of like recycling there, and they're cute, and they make silk, and that's nice, and they're really fluffy and fuzzy, and I just like moths. Okay, probably one of my favorite animals, other than cats and snakes. I like cats and snakes. Don't judge me, okay? Moths definitely come above dogs though. I do like dogs, but you probably wouldn't believe me when I say that, considering how much I complain about the neighbour's dog a lot, because she is a bitch, I'm just saying. But yeah, oh my god, I'm sorry, I think we just went through another awkward long pause again. And that's not fun, and I'm not paying attention to the build as much as I should, but it turns out that I was spending quite a lot of time on, like, on individual rooms in this build, and maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's not. And it's surprising that it's, like, such a long build as well, because usually when it's just a renovation, it doesn't take as long as it would do for me to make a house from scratch, because obviously a house from scratch, you have to, like, come up with the shell and everything like that. But then again, if you think about it, this is a fucking huge house as well, whereas as if I'm making my own house and my own shell, I tend to make them smaller or on the small side, just because that fits my aesthetic more. And obviously I live in the UK, we're not used to massive houses, okay? We don't have that much space. We build up instead of sideways. It's just why you hardly ever see me have, like, bedrooms on the ground floor in a house as well, because I'm just not used to bedrooms on the ground floor unless it's like in a student house, you know? Obviously we had bedrooms on the ground floor in my student accommodation, my student house, because there were like six of us girls all wedged into one house. Well, actually it was two houses that had kind of been, like, the walls in between had been knocked down. So it's kind of 6 girls squished into 2 houses, and my room was like this little box. So even though this room that I live in now is tiny, it's basically like a mansion compared to where I used to live. So I can't complain about anything anymore, you know. As you can see, we have kind of moved on as well, and as you can see, like that, I can't even remember what the word is for it, that like those thick roof trims kind of always end up gravitating on the inside of the house when you do weird things with the layout. But I did kind of make the space more light and airy. I gave it blue wallpaper in there because I love that. I like blue's just a nice neutral color, you know. It's if I was building a family room, I probably wouldn't make it pink. I would make it blue. My family room, my living room, actually, we don't call it a family room because we're not that posh. My living room is mostly pink, actually. Grey walls and all that, but it's got like pink decorations because my mum decorated it. And you know what? Pink is still my favourite colour, but it's a bit too much. No, I've been thinking of switching it over anyway, because at the moment her bedroom's kind of like yellow and her living room's pink. But she's kind of thinking of switching it over so her bedroom's pink and the living room's yellow, which would be nice. I like yellow as much as the next girl. And the next person who likes light airy spaces. I already said I didn't like light airy spaces. I'm just a contradiction, okay? I did win the award for the most contrary when I graduated from secondary school. I think that was just their way of saying, instead of, it's not actually the most contrary, what they meant to say was the little miss, the most autistic. But they were giving out like these rewards, like these little jokey rewards, and like there were little Mr. Men book and little Miss books. I don't know if you read them as a child yourself. I don't know if they have them in other countries, but Mr. Men and Little Miss are like little shape people, and they all embody personality. And I don't think there's a Mr. Men or Little Miss book called Mr. or Little Miss autistic. So instead of Little Miss Autistic, I got Little Miss Contrary, and I cried at the lovely message that it left in the inside of the book that told me not to change. Also, can I just point out what I did there with that fireplace? Can I just point that out 2 seconds, because I am obsessed. I don't know if there's a natural fire grate, but I couldn't find one, so I actually sized down a room divider to put it in front of the fireplace, because again, this is supposed to be more child friendly, this house. So to make it child friendly, of course we're going to put a fire grate in front of the fireplace so my children can't get in there and burn themselves to death, and especially considering one of them is a vampire and thus extremely susceptible to flames. So yeah, it's nice and healthy and safe for them. Also, I don't know how, but recently I have become obsessed with those Get Famous curtains. I use them in like every build I can that hasn't just got short wall height, because you can't use them on a short wall height because it clips through the ceiling, which I think is very rude, but okay. So yeah, I've been using them in like basically all my builds. It's the same with like the ivy curtains from the Blooming Rooms kit, which I might have to add. Blooming Rooms kit and Decor to the Max as well is one of my favourites, but my favourite kit and my one that I think kits should just embody themselves behind is definitely Blooming Rooms, because I can totally get behind paying £5 for a kit dedicated to like one type of like item. Like, just, you want more plants in your life, £5, Blooming Rooms, go. And like, you're not missing out if you don't get it, if that makes sense as well. So yeah. Oh, sorry, the chicken fried rice is getting to me now. Or maybe it's the 2 energy drinks I've had, who knows. Oh, that was a really awkward time to pause, considering there was a pause in the video as well, but I'm sorry, sorry not sorry, and all that. But as you can see, one big change I did make to Vlad's mansion is we have a fucking massive TV now, because I couldn't live without a TV in my house. All houses should have TVs, even though if it's just a little tiny one. Even though I personally don't really watch TV much, because I'm either reading or working or recording for The Sims or playing The Sims or playing other video games or mostly watching YouTube. You know, I don't watch TV much, but I think houses should have TVs, and we've got 2 TVs in my house that I never watch. One is in the living room and one is in my mum's room, and both of them are just primarily watched by my mum. That's also because I really don't like the remote that we have for my living room TV. I know it's weird. I know you're thinking like a remote, but it's like an Apple TV remote. It's really shitty. It gets lost like that. Like, it's super impractical. Like, the reason why you should have a big remote is because It's a self-defensive weapon when someone breaks into your house, just clocking around the head with a massive universal TV remote, you know. And B, it's easy to find when you're trying to change the channel. Whereas this one isn't, and it's not very tactile either. It's got like, I don't know how to describe it. I just don't like the design of it, okay? But she kind of got it free with her EE plan, so here we are, I guess. As you can probably see as well, towards like the end of this video, and like the end of this build, I did get a bit tired. And so kind of like I started putting new furniture in as much, and I just started palette swapping the existing furniture to make it like more cute and breezy and all that. I would apologize for that, but you know what, I'm not really actually that sorry about that. So, you know, I also did get rid of one of the bathrooms. I did do some change because I wanted that to be like a double bedroom for the kids, because one of the kids was a toddler at that point. Both the kids were toddlers even at that point, both the girls. And so I just shoved them both in that room, and I did like that little corner there where the bathroom used to be as like a little play corner. But in the end, I did in my own time. It's not in this build, which I really wish I did include. It is like there's a little tower upstairs, and you can go up the tower, and there's like this little cute little decorated room for Hecate, you know. And you know what? She's super cute, and she grew up, and she turned out to be super ugly. So I did obviously go into Cass and like just quietly switch out a couple of just, you know, tuck in a couple of Vlad's more strong features that she inherited, let's just say. But she still ended up perfectly well. And the weird thing about like Sims with unnatural hair colours as well is that like you never know what hair colour your kid's gonna inherit, because they did end up having a third child as well in the end, by the way, just so you know, spoiler alert. And so Hecate, she was born with black hair. My Sim has like that pinky purpley hair. As you can probably see there, to be honest, where I froze. So she obviously inherited my hair colour, but it wasn't my hair colour because I don't have black hair. I don't know if you can notice, but my hair is brown now. It's blonde from birth. It's one of those hair changing. My hair colour changed when I grew up. It's par for the course. So yeah, but then like the second one was obviously born with like the white skin, the white hair, which she obviously inherited from Vlad. So the white hair couldn't be inherited. But then the third one ended up ginger. How the hell did she end up ginger? And I think if that child didn't turn out to be a vampire, then Vlad would be very concerned as to who that baby's father was. Because honestly, she doesn't look that much like him. But then again, she is still a toddler at this point. And I'm trying to remember what even I named her now. Persephone, Hecate. It's another Greek goddess name, but I can't remember it off the top of my head, if I'm being honest. Persephone, Hecate, Aphrodite. I named her Aphrodite. Yeah. Because why not? So that one's going to be probably asexual. And again, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier in this video, but I am super excited about the new updates that we get into the base game, with like the customizable sexual orientation. Yes, I did, because I mentioned that I may or may not be aromantic in that. I don't think I actually said aromantic, but I might be aromantic. Let's just say I might be aromantic and just leave it at that. But don't be surprised if I do end up having a girlfriend one day. Actually, do be surprised, because I don't leave the house. And I'm not on like Tinder or anything like that. Well, I have a Tinder profile, but I never go on it. Like I used to go on Tinder dates, but then I started doing YouTube more, and I didn't have time. And to be honest, I don't like meeting people anyway, so it's no skin off my nose. Damn, that's good. It's the Monster Pacific Punch. It's so good. It's so tasty. It tastes almost salty in a way. And I like that about it. I like sweet, salty flavours. Just pouring some more in now. It's so good. Oh, yeah. You can't see it, but that was a very satisfying pour. Yeah, as you can see, I'm flying around in this now and like looking around the outside and that. And in the end, I didn't really change much about the downstairs, except I kind of left like that creepy underground crypt, because I kind of imagine that the kids are probably banned from going down there as children until they grow older. When they're children, yes, they can go, but as toddlers, they can't get down there. And so I kind of also added some like brewing stations for my sim, because we're both spellcasters, and that's fun. Well, I say we're both spellcasters, like I'm a spellcaster, like I'm a witch or something. No, I'm not. I can do a witchy laugh sometimes though, and one of my favourite songs is Defying Gravity, even though I have never seen Wicked. But I will not sing it to you, even though I'm so tempted to, because I cannot sing, guys. I don't know if you know this about me, but I cannot sing, although a couple of my videos have included me singing, which I'm sure everyone cringes when they get to that part. But you know what? I love singing. Just anyway, I love singing. I sing constantly when I'm by myself. Like, singing is fun for me. Also, cat shout random sink that I put in there because I figured that they need to get water for the cauldron from somewhere. So there's a sink downstairs with no toilet. But you know, like, a life where you're too afraid to sing even in your own house is a kind of disappointing and sad life, I think. Like, one of my few joys in life, one of the things that helps me relax and calm down is just singing. And so sometimes you'll catch me singing in my videos as well, because sometimes I get really fucking bored when I'm like waiting for things to happen. So I just sing instead. And now I'm starting to think maybe I should start singing. Like right now. But I don't even know what I'd sing, to be honest. Like, defying gravity. Like, something has changed within me. Something is not the same. See? No, that's embarrassing. And I can't cut that out because it's a Speedbuild. I never cut out any of my narration in the Speedbuild, which is why I have to be really careful. And I'm really sorry. I think we've actually stopped it here now, which is really awkward because we stopped just as I started singing. And so now you're kind of probably on a freeze frame. And it's really bad for you. And I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm going to leave you now, though. I love you all, guys. I love you guys so much. So much. I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I'm trying to work through it because I can't talk properly. But I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, I suppose consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. That might be nice for you. But other than that, have a great day. And I will see you guys later. Ta-ra. It's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes and leap. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.